So I wasn't gonna make a video on this, but you know what? It's been a slow couple weeks, and Jason Schreier is a clown. So, here it is. Also follow me on Twitter at JoeFromSeattle1, and maybe donate to the channel with the link in the description. Okay, anyways, Jason Schreier is one of the main names at Kotaku. He's one of their lead writers. I don't actually know what what's his official job description? Jason Schreier is the news editor at Kotaku, and I've said before on a few different occasions that I think he's very good at his job. I think he's excellent at behind-the-scenes reporting and reporting on leaks, getting everyone up to date with all the news in the gaming industry, but I also think the guy is a total scumbag, and I think he's so set on being a scumbag and he's so used to being a scumbag, he doesn't realize it. And it's one of the things that a lot of people realize about Jason, that he's a great reporter, but when you talk to him one-on-one or you see him interact with people on Twitter, there's just something you can't really put your finger on about him. Enter February 19th, 2020. Sophia Narwitz posts an article covering the epidemic of gatekeeping in games journalism. Most people who follow games journalism kind of know that there is a clique of the higher-ups. All of these companies and all of these game journalist websites are run by a very specific mindset, which explains why all of them can think the exact same way, and the reason why you will never find a conservative games journalist at any of these sites. Sophia Narwitz did a very good, and in my opinion, very non-biased article covering just the groundwork of this clique, as we want to call it, of games journalists and the gatekeeping and bullying to dissenters that happens behind the scenes that they like to not talk about so much. I'll leave the article in the description for you to read for yourself, but these are some of the standout quotes from it. In the article, Sophia actually talks to someone within the industry who remained nameless, but gave some insight about the way things work behind the scenes. Quote, "If you are openly a conservative and tried to apply to any of the mainstream outlets that are on the coasts, I don't think you'd have a chance in hell of getting in. There's a lot of us that probably think there's a clique. Well, that know there's a clique. People won't write something, or we won't say anything on Twitter or whatever because you spew one wrong opinion and you're asking for trouble. Unless you don't care about potential opportunities within the industry, a lot of people just don't say what they're actually thinking." Another Twitter user tagged Jason Schreier and asked him what his opinions were on it, to which Jason responded, "Conspiracy theory nonsense." Schreier called it a conspiracy theory, which, you know, we could leave it there if he left it there. Dustin responds, "I for one would like to see games media showing diversity, both in terms of gender, sexuality, and ideas. I'm interested to hear how these companies are promoting ideological diversity. Is there anything showing this?" I'm now blocked as well. According to the one entrenched in conspiracy. Blocked.
Good one.
He can't name anyone so he can provide proof, and he blocks anyone who questions him about it? Really gets the noggin jogging, doesn't it, lads? Blocked. "And not even I was safe from it. Okay, so prove it wrong. Name some people." Blocked.
You just don't get it, do you? You don't.
Jason, I know you're kind of slow when you're not talking about games, but this proves you wrong, and it proves us right. When someone asks you about your line of work and your field of expertise, and you give an answer to which people ask for some elaboration on that answer, and you just block them, you are proving yourself wrong. And look, I don't care about your political leanings. I don't care about anything with the political side of this. It is very obvious that conservative viewpoints get bullied out of games journalism. There's tons of evidence of this, and here's more of it coming from Jason himself. I don't care about the political aspect of this. To gatekeep like this is completely wrong and counterproductive. It goes against the entire spirit of journalism. We live in a really weird time where a lot of people seem to think censoring the opposition somehow makes them automatically right, and that debates are bad, which is painfully ironic considering what the word liberal is supposed to mean, Jason. And when you have a bunch of these kinds of people running a field like games journalism, it creates a weird hive mind, like what we see on sites like Kotaku and Polygon and Rock Paper Shotgun, where everyone who even slightly thinks differently from them is the worst person ever. Comments must be shuttered, dissenters must be smeared, and we are so far down the rabbit hole that they don't even realize they're not the good guys in this situation. The weirdest part of this whole thing was Jason went out of his way to respond to the original tweet and call it a conspiracy, but then just blocked anyone who opposed him and didn't say another word about it. You can search his whole Twitter. He never made another tweet about this. This, where he calls it a conspiracy theory, that is the only tweet he ever made about this. Why bother saying anything if you're not even going to follow up with anyone? Why did you even enter the conversation if you're going to block everyone who wanted to converse? Are you so delusional that you somehow think dismissing something with so much evidence surrounding it and then blocking all who ask for clarity is somehow gonna make you right and the good guy here? And you know what the sad part is? I honestly would have respected Jason more if he just straight up said, yeah, we don't like conservatives. Or, yeah, there is a clique in games journalism. And that's the thing that frustrates me the most about this whole elite games journalism crowd. Everyone knows there's shady stuff going down. Everyone knows it's a hive mind. Everyone knows you bully and silence all dissenting opinions. But you still act like you're the heroes here, and no one could possibly know what you're up to. I don't even think you know what you're up to. But you know what? I'm not even going to give them the benefit of the doubt that, oh, they're doing it subconsciously. They don't realize they're doing it. No. To have everything so organized like this and to have so much surrounding this, it is a completely conscious decision to censor the opposition like this and to create such an echo chamber. Just own it. You know what you're doing. Everyone would respect you more if you just owned up to it. Yeah, they wouldn't like you, but they would actually respect you a little if you were just upfront about it. And I think it's your duty, Jason, as a journalist to actually respond to these people. You didn't have to enter the ring here, but you're so blinded by your own elitism that you not only entered the ring entirely, but you think you came out on top, when all you did here was just turn a big portion of your audience against you. This isn't the first video I've made about Jason. A while back, I made a video about a Twitter rant he went on where he praised the Epic Games Store, but then also simultaneously tried to say Tim Sweeney should be arrested for his wealth. So I'm guessing Jason's brain just kind of shuts down when it comes to live debate. The purpose of this video isn't to be a hit piece on Jason Schreier, but it's rather to be a documentation of what actually happens with these things. A lot of people just see the reporting that Jason does, which is, again, admittedly great reporting, and that's the part of this that hurts the most. I doubt Jason will ever watch this video, and I doubt if he does watch this video, he'll get this however many minutes into it to hear me say this, but his reporting is fucking stellar, and that's what sucks so much about this. Everyone knows that there is a clique in games journalism. Everyone knows games journalism has a heavy left-leaning bias, and there's nothing wrong with having a bias as long as you're upfront about it and you acknowledge that there are other viewpoints. To treat a giant portion of the audience as if they don't exist or they're below you, it goes against the spirit of journalism as a whole, and it completely prevents you from covering things and talking about things in an unbiased manner. And once again, this has nothing to do with my own political leanings. There's a reason I haven't talked about my own political leanings in this video, because it shouldn't be relevant. And the complete disregard for giant chunks of your audience simply because they don't line up 100% with what you think, or just because they want you to clarify something. That's the worst part of this. The giant blocking spree that Jason went on and that I got caught in. We weren't saying that we disagreed with him. We weren't saying that we are Republican right-wingers who think he's evil. No. We were just asking him to clarify, and he blocked us all without a second thought. This man calls himself a journalist, and he's not even close to being the only one who does this. My problem isn't just with Jason, my problem is with games journalism as a whole and how much of a clown show it is now. There's a reason why nobody takes it seriously anymore. It's so depressing that the whole world is so politicized now. It wasn't like this a few years ago. Judge people based on the things that they say, not because you put them into a category with a bunch of predetermined checklists for yourself, so you don't have to think any further about whether or not you should treat someone fairly. And for the love of God, if you're going to be a games journalist or any kind of social media or media personality, anything like that, for the love of God, have a spine. I'm getting real sick of all this. Oh well, guess I've just been added to another list of Twitter blocks. Toodles.